Greetings you sexy motherfuckers. Let me explain to you why Limbo is now an absolute broken god frame since his recent rework. But before we dig into the reasons for this, allow me to briefly relay the changes he has undergone. First off, Limbo no longer uses the 2 key with the retarded ass, slow ass animation to banish himself into the other dimension. No, now you can simply and swiftly perform a roll or a dodge to travel between dimensions. I will refer to this move as the Limbo Dash from now on. This Limbo Dash no longer costs energy to execute, nor time energy to sustain. It is literally free. This proves to make Limbo playing much more fluent and grants him a more ninja-like feel. And Limbo's first ability has not been changed very much. You can still banish enemies and allies to the other dimension as you please, however now it is radial. Much like Uenox's sleep ability or Ivarai's sleep arrows. This is great, but it comes with a handicap. Now you can only affect targets that reside on the same dimensional plane as you. Anything that is not in the same dimension as you are, cannot be affected by banish. This will make things tricky for you. Trust me. Moving on to the second ability. This one is completely new and mainly the reason why Limbo is a motherfucking boss now. Stasis. This ability will bring space-time to an absolute halt. Yes, you heard correctly. You can force time itself into a complete stop. However, only in the Limbo dimension. This will not take effect outside of Limbo. It can be applied to single banished targets or anything and everything within your Limbo bubble. Speaking of bubbles, Cataclysm, Limbo's fourth, has not changed much either. Except now its damage will scale with enemies. So in other words it's still the same as before, just not shitty. Now then, let's talk about the third ability that nobody seems to understand yet. It is quite simple but not easy to demonstrate. Limbo can infuse banished and only banished enemies with so-called rift energy. This has multiple effects. Number 1, douchebags you have infused become more susceptible to damage. Number 2, killing infused enemies will cause damage to other enemies that are also infused and within range. This is the feature you could consider a discount molecular prime. Number 3, if infused enemies leave the rift, they will cause a radial banish that will not only banish nearby enemies but also knock them all down to their asses again. This concludes all major changes to Limbo. Now let's get into some god mode shit. My testing has led me to the conclusion that Limbo can alternate or even specialize between 2 general play styles. One is a stationary tactic that provides incredible crowd control. This style will be similar to Frost gameplay. 2 is a more free and adaptive play style that will require some planning ahead to master. Both variants offer extreme team support or solo Rambo ability. I highly recommend you play around with Limbo your damn self to find what works best for you, but here is how I do it. Banish and infuse enemies constantly and make sure time is always frozen. Also throw your guns out the window since their projectiles will not move in the Limbo dimension. But your melee will fuck up everything. Yes, this makes Limbo a melee god now. This is how I play the free adaptive way. Which makes Limbo insane in terms of crowd control. Obviously casting a bubble with time frozen, will give you extraordinary means for defense missions of all kinds. The only thing you need to change up in terms of tactics, when using the defensive style, is to infuse enemies near the border of your cataclysm. As enemies try to swarm you, this will cause a chain reaction leaving every motherfucker banished and frozen in time. If you still do not accept the fact that this makes Limbo the god of crowd control now, allow me to explain it like this. In super high-end game, enemies will kill you long before you can kill them. The best way to ensure your survival is to reduce incoming damage. Nyx causes distraction which reduces incoming damage. Novus those motherfuckers down, which also reduces incoming damage due to slower enemy fire rates. Loki disarms enemies entirely, thus stopping ranged damage altogether. The list goes on and on and on. So pretty much every Warframe has abilities that help to reduce incoming damage. Limbo, however, is the only motherfucker that can completely stop all incoming damage by literally freezing time itself. 0 incoming damage equals God mode. For fuck's sake. So Limbo cannot be killed. But there is a problem. Since Limbo is now Superman, Limbo must also have kryptonite. And that is, piece of shit douchebag motherfucking nullifiers. These assholes are the only things in the Warframe universe that will fuck you up faster than you can say, I like Vauban's balls. Suck my holographic mushroom tip. All in all, Limbo is amazing now, but you better pray to God you do not have to deal with nullies. Also, if you fuck up, just once, you're dead. Now like this video and subscribe to this shitty channel. And fuck off.
Deep down low.